All right, let's get right into it. Picture this. You're in the final interview for a Dean of Students position. The stakes are sky high. You've been nailing every question. And then they hit you with the one that can change everything.
So tell us, how do you handle situations when you realize you might be part of the conflict? Whoa, that's a tough one, right? It really forces you to look inward. You can't hide behind some textbook management theory here. Your answer is going to reveal everything about your maturity, your self-awareness, and really, your ability to lead.
But here's the thing you have to know. This question is not a trap. It's actually a huge opportunity. See, the interview committee isn't looking for some perfect person who's never been part of a problem. No way. They're looking for a leader who has the guts and the humility to see it, to own it, and to grow from it. To absolutely nail this answer, you've got to make a big mindset shift first. It's all about moving away from that natural instinct to point fingers, and instead, moving toward a place of real, genuine ownership. Honestly, this is what separates the good managers from the truly great leaders.
This quote right here frames the whole idea perfectly. You know, mature leadership isn't just about being a referee for other people's problems. It actually starts with looking in the mirror. It's about being willing to ask that really hard question. Hang on, what part am I playing in this?
So, before we build that perfect answer, let's talk about what not to do. It is so important to understand the common mistakes. You could even call them leadership sins that people make when they find themselves in the middle of a conflict. Let's break down the big ones that just absolutely destroy trust.
First up, let's talk about ego, and that starts with avoiding responsibility. Sure, pointing the finger at someone else might protect your ego for a hot second, but it completely demolishes your credibility. The source material gives this great example of a principal who signed a form with a mistake on it. Instead of blaming her assistant, she just owned it. That's the move. You just have to acknowledge that the mistake is yours.
Another ego-driven mistake? Defensiveness. You know the feeling. Someone criticizes you, and your gut reaction is to throw up a wall. But getting defensive is an absolute trust killer. It tells everyone that you're not open to feedback, and honestly, it kind of makes you look guilty, which only makes the conflict worse.
Now, this one is sneaky, but it is so damaging. A leader might try to soften the truth a little bit, to protect someone's feelings or make bad news sound better. But when you start bending the truth, you get a reputation for being dishonest. And once that trust is gone, man, every single conversation you have from then on becomes 10 times harder.
Okay, let's shift from ego to principle, starting with compromised integrity. As a dean, every big decision you make has to come back to one thing: what is best for the students? The second your staff thinks your choices are about politics or pressure or just making your own life easier, that's when they start to question your integrity. And right alongside integrity is inconsistency. People need to feel like their leader is predictable, in a good way. If you're applying rules differently depending on who you're talking to or what kind of day you're having, you lose all credibility. Even a really tough decision feels more fair when people know it's based on consistent, solid principles. And this slide highlights the final pitfall: emotional responses. There's this great story about a principal who was furious after a fire marshal made a demanding request. But instead of exploding, she walked away, took a minute to get herself together, and came back to have a productive talk. See, the feeling is the problem. The unfiltered reaction is the danger. So, here's the bottom line. Avoiding these mistakes isn't just about managing conflict better. It's the absolute bedrock of building and keeping trust with your students, your staff, and your entire community. Okay, so now we know what to avoid. Let's build the perfect response. And thankfully, the source material gives us this simple, really powerful framework to structure our answer. All you have to do is remember to own it.
Let's break it down really quick. O is for own your part. That means taking responsibility and being open to criticism. W is for watch your habits. This is about constantly checking yourself for things like bias or emotional reactions. And N is for navigate forward, which means focusing on rebuilding trust and changing your patterns for the better.
Let's just zoom in on that W for a second. Watch your habits. This is all about active self-awareness. It's constantly asking yourself, am I being totally honest here? Is this decision really about integrity? Am I being consistent? Am I checking my own biases before I act? And am I in control of my emotions? This isn't a one-time thing. It's a constant daily practice.
All right, so we've got the mindset, we know the pitfalls to avoid, and we have the framework. Now let's put it all together. Let's craft that master answer that shows you're a leader with real maturity.
So just listen to how this all flows together in an answer. Notice it doesn't make a single excuse. It shows a deep commitment to self-reflection instead of defensiveness. It focuses on real, concrete actions, like change behavior and honest communication, to rebuild that trust. And it ends on a powerful note about integrity and always getting better. Now that is an answer that builds some serious confidence.
And this, right here, just lays it all out plain and simple. A weak answer blames, it defends, it makes excuses, it's all focused outward. But a master answer? It owns, it reflects, and it commits to getting better. It starts inward. One destroys trust, the other builds it. It's really as simple as that.
So, as we wrap this up, here are the most important things to take away. 1. Always look at yourself first before you look for someone to blame. 2. Own your part clearly, no excuses. 3. Treat criticism like a gift. 4. Remember that trust isn't rebuilt with an apology, it's rebuilt with different behavior. 5. Always take a breath before you respond. And 6. Constantly, actively check yourself for your own biases.
Because at the end of the day, the toughest, most important conflicts you'll ever face as a leader, they're not with other people. They're resolved right there, in the mirror. So the real question isn't just how you're going to lead others, it's how are you going to lead yourself?